Okay, I've been sent this video of the Florida deputies a million times, and quite frankly, I think the lessons are a little different than most people think. Hi everyone, welcome to today's badge cam lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host, John Correa.
I'm your co-host, Mike Williver. Today's video comes to us from Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Hey listen, we have an extended discussion on this one before we get going into the issue on the real significant issues behind this. It's in the ASP Unlimited app. Hit the link in the description. Please sign up for ASP Unlimited and come and join in that discussion because there's a lot to talk about here. We're not going to be able to get to all of it on the video. Let's see what we've got. Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense. Officers have been called here to a noise complaint of a man who's been driving around this neighborhood since 3 a.m. and has apparently stolen his girlfriend's car. She's had it and wants to file a police report, and the sergeant's badge cam that we are watching right here, this isn't her normal shift. She's doing this one as an overtime shift. Now, I have included the entirety, or at least a big chunk, of the original video from the sheriff's office. And it's a lot, but it establishes really important context, okay? So if you want to just go towards the action, I've put a timestamp there, but I really think that the context is important, so let's listen in.
My car back. I've been asking all night, can I get my car back? Like, I don't care about the argument. I don't even know what the argument is about. I just want my car. I don't want to deal with anything. I know anytime we get into it, whether I'm right or wrong, he puts his hands on me or he threatens to put his hands on me. It gets very violent. There he is.
In your car or walking up?
He's walking.
She pretty much we're in a relationship, arguing, conversation. Yeah.
Pat him down, please.
What's that?
Pat him down.
What I'm getting patted down for?
Do you have any weapons on you?
No.
Okay.
What I'm getting patted down for?
Because you're getting patted down.
Why?
Do you have any weapons on you?
No, I don't have no weapons on me. What's that like that? This is cute. Don't got no weapons on me.
Hands on your pockets. Okay. So, what's your side? No.
I ain't got no side. I ain't got, whatever she says is what it is. So whatever she want to do, let's do it. And see how far she want to take it.
Where is her car?
At her mom's house, you're saying?
Let's see how far she want to take it.
He's saying you just turned over her mom.
How far you want to take it? I'm not sure.
What do you want to do?
I want my car.
Okay, I think it's at your mom's house is what he's saying.
How did he get here if it's at my mom's
I know.
house?
Can you call your mom to see if the car's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
She just called me.
Okay, and
What'd she
see if
say?
she's got the keys.
So I'll call back.
I'm gonna call my mom.
Yeah, call her real quick.
I just want my car. I don't care about anything else. I'm over it. I've been with him for 3 years.
Yeah.
Mom. What? Is my car at the house?
What?
Is my car at the house? I have the police here at Sheikah's house to get my car. It's not at the house? Okay. It's not home.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna send you well, you have my location, right? I'm on Green Acres. Yeah. But it's not at my house.
Okay. And mom's there right now.
My mom is there. She's coming here.
She's coming here. Okay.
Yeah. My car is not here. I mean, at my house, and I don't see it anywhere in the vicinity.
Did you have her look around? I mean,
Detain him, please. I need an affidavit from you. Okay.
Where's that?
That's where you're filling out that you're wanting to pursue charges. Okay. Where's our car? Where's our car, Marquise?
Can I talk to her?
No.
Can I talk to her more? Her keys right here.
Real quick.
Her keys right here. Can I give you her keys?
I'm sorry.
Have you ever filled out an affidavit with us before? Okay, so the suspect is going to be his information. This, where it's the narrative, that's going to be what happened, the incident, okay? And then all of this is going to be your information, all right? So don't sign this until I swear you to it, all right? Okay? If you have any questions, get with me or get with one of the deputies, okay? And don't listen to what he's running his mouth right now. Just let him run his fucking mouth. Okay. Also, need to provide her information about an injunction.
I guess it's in the car's ahead of them.
I don't remember.
I'll read it off to you. So it's 850. It is 917.
When did I call?
From where mom and car's over there.
No, mom said that the car is not over there at her
My mom
residence.
is on her way here.
But mom said car is not there.
Car is not there.
Okay. So let's see if we can find it. Let's see if we can find it. I agree with you, ladies.
It's okay.
I agree that it's somewhere probably within about a mile.
I'm trying to think where it would be. Is anyone by his house in Shalimar? Is my car there?
No, I think it's going to be somewhere around here. Excuse me. We're going to check around here, and then if we can't find it, then we'll start looking up other places.
You didn't say where it is?
He's playing games right now.
He's gonna play games. That's what he's gonna do.
Mm-hmm. If he had the firearm, would he leave it in your car? No?
He would leave it in his own car.
He'd leave it in his own car.
If there was any weapon, it'd be in his car, not in mine. I hope
Right.
mine.
Right. When he sent you the picture that we're looking at that we can't figure out what it is.
That is. I think it's. What do you think that is?
I don't know. I really don't.
Like I honestly,
It's a weird picture. It's like
it was a threat, and it was. It's my not dashboard, but
Your screen.
my screen.
Right.
You know, so it's like, why would you send me a picture of that? I'll show you again and
Yeah.
tell me what that is. I don't know. But I don't know what that piece is because that's not ordinarily there.
Right. Does he have anything on the firearm, like any aftermarket
Like a
things?
silencer?
Mm-hmm. That's what that is.
I'm about to cry. But yeah, he has more than one weapon, and I just wouldn't think he'd have it in my car or toting it around
Okay.
or anything like that. But he's sending me a picture, threats, and I'm like, what is that? Me and her are both trying to figure it out. Like, what is that?
I couldn't even tell.
We couldn't even tell, but more than likely it probably is a weapon. And he's like, I'm gonna bust your whole shit up. Like, I'm gonna bust your windows. I'm gonna bust your radio, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna bust your whole shit. Like,
Okay.
by the time you get to your car, it's gonna be over with. And I'm like, okay. At this point, I want to be done with it. I don't even want to entertain it, because he is known for playing games. So it's like, I need to show you, like, I'm not playing. I want my car. That's that. I don't know what the fuck he has going on, but
Get the picture. If she'll give it to you, because it looks like a silencer pushed up to the dash area. If you want to go ahead and transport him, I'll stay here and get the affidavit.
Okay. And then, just because she mentioned that.
I'm sorry, it took me so
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
Is there anything else I need to fill out?
So if you can tell me what the vehicle is and how much you think that it's valued at.
Like how much I paid for my car?
Yeah, or how much you think that it would value at right now.
Okay.
They got it?
Okay.
They found it.
Where is it?
1656 Hunt Club over here off MLK.
Heather Glen.
Is that the other place?
That's those apartments. Like on that one road where the two gas. He must have walked. How far is that? I mean,
I'd say
walking,
about 2-3 miles.
walking it's a little minute, but driving it's not too far.
I'm pulling out your full search.
Okay.
But driving it's not too far.
I'm pulling out your full search.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! You know. I'm hit! I'm hit! What? I'm not! In the car! I was shot through the car! Oh! I'm good. I feel weird, but I'm good.
Do you know your tag number off the top of your head? Okay, it's okay. What? What? Oh! Where? Right there? Jesse! Jesse, are you okay? Get in the house! Get in the house! Jesse! Get back! Get back! Where is he? Where is he?
In the car.
43, give me traffic. Shots fired. Shots fired. I got a deputy down.
No! Please, no! Please!
Off of McLaren. We're off of McLaren. Shots fired. I got a deputy down. Jesse, how are you? Jesse, how are you? Okay. 43 SO, I need EMS. I need EMS on standby. Suspect is going to be in the vehicle. Where are you hit? Where are you hit?
No!
Get back!
No!
Get back!
Anybody to do anything?
Our dude ended up being unarmed in the car. They shot at his car a whole bunch. Didn't hit a darn thing. Now this guy's gonna go to jail for a little while for sure, but he's gonna have probably the best soups and little snacks and stuff in his entire cell block. Our deputy who fired the first shots, he wasn't hit. There was no gun in the car. An Acorn fell on top of his patrol cruiser. We'll see it in the analysis. And after criminal charges were declined to be filed, he actually resigned from the sheriff's office. But, you know, he's a good guy, actually, and we'll talk about that in the analysis. Our sergeant here, her actions were considered commensurate with policy. So she was exonerated from any internal affairs charges, and that's created some consternation in the public, but we're gonna have to think about that in the lessons. No, seriously, I mean it. Extended discussion about the underlying issues here that frankly all the memes I'm seeing on the internet aren't talking about. Go over to the app, hit the link in the description, download the app at the very least and sign up for the light tier, would you? It's free. So on this side, we're gonna talk about the tactics and what they did here rather than kind of the probable cause and those things. We'll talk about that. We talk about that in the app. So please, again, go subscribe there to get all that stuff. But Mike, I think this initial pat down that we saw here was, I mean, obviously they're trying to kind of put this line between we're investigating a crime and we actually have seen one. And so can I just do a Terry frisk here or can I do a full pat down? But when they finally pat this guy down, it doesn't feel like they were super convinced.
We don't get to see every bit of the action from every badge cam, unfortunately. So I don't know if they perhaps at a later time did a more thorough pat down, but this pat down's sort of half-hearted. This is not what I want to see if I'm making sure a detained person is unarmed. I don't want to let him, he's reaching around in his own pockets. I hate everything about it. The important thing here is you have to know that you are where you are legally as a police officer. I say this all the time. And that you are able to do legally what you're doing. So I think maybe this officer, this deputy had a little hesitation, like he wasn't sure, am I okay legally to do this? Look, if this guy is now being detained and or arrested for domestic violence or for the threatening pictures or whatever, we know he's in custody. Let's get him in handcuffs, right? Let's get a thorough pat down. And by thorough pat down, I mean methodical. Divide the body in half, go from all the way from the hair to the toes. Get up in their business, because there's been, as we mentioned on the app, there's been plenty of times where bad guys or girls will get entire guns in their, well, butt crack, for lack of a better way of putting it. They get it up in there and they end up finding it in jail. So pat down, pat down, pat down. Crucially important, do it methodically every time, because I feel like if he knew this guy had been properly patted down, this might have been averted.
And I really feel like another issue here is that this is like a prototypical domestic violence call. This is absolutely what we see again and again, that we see the victim here who nevertheless feels like maybe she's at fault, she's not worth defending, what are we gonna do here? And quite frankly, the cops see this every day and they're kind of looking for a reason. Can we get something that's not gonna depend on anything other than something objective to at least send this guy to jail for a while, get a record on him? And this kind of thing happens every day, and these are dangerous, dangerous calls.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know, I think there's a misconception in general about the mentality of a domestic violence victim. Now, they're almost always women, right? Not always, but almost always. The female half is the one receiving the abuse. And I think some people just have this mentality like, well, why didn't she just leave him? We had a podcast episode, or we're going to have a podcast episode coming out shortly, of a woman, and she walks us all the way through meeting the person, how the abuse starts. It doesn't start by slamming your head through a wall. It starts by raising your voice, and then it becomes shaking you a little, and then it gets gradually worse and worse, and that person isolates you and they demean you and put you in a position where you feel like as John said, like you're not worth defending. That's not true. And if you are in that position and watching this, get the help that you need, because no one's going to do it for you.
It really is important, and it takes a lot of support from friends, family, help, good resources. And of course, these deputies and the sergeant are trying to do the best that they can. Now, let's see what goes down here, okay? So he's gonna go back and say, okay, it's time to really hook this guy up and arrest him now, okay? And I know a lot of people are wondering, where the heck did that happen? I wanna point out to you what actually went down here. We did actually catch it on video. So what happened, you can see right there, that's an Acorn, and that Acorn fell on top of the car. Now listen, again, Deputy Hernandez, who is the guy who ends up saying, I'm hit and firing into the car first, he's a good dude. He has 2 combat tours in Afghanistan, one in the infantry, one in special forces, and is a West Point grad, so he's an Army officer. This guy's not a turd, and this guy that's in the back of the car was supposedly had suppressed firearms. So okay, fine. I don't know what his ultimate kind of thing was here, but what we always ask is that was this objectively reasonable, right? Subjectively, you could tell he felt like he was hit, like there were shots fired and his life was in danger. But was it objectively reasonable? And I think the answer here is no, it wasn't. He didn't have objective evidence for what he was doing.
Now, there's a lot of other outlets, YouTube channels, all sorts of things that are just memeing the crap out of this and making fun of this guy. And we don't do that here. I actually feel kind of bad for the guy. I'm probably going to catch hell for that in the comments, but that's okay. I can take it. It's just the saddest thing in the world that this officer who had been in combat more than once, I don't know if he was in direct combat, but he'd been in combat situations. He's heard suppressed weapons fired more than one occasion. He really believed this is what was happening. He thought he was hit. And if you look at, there's tons of times when police officers or Marines or soldiers or whatever think that they've not been hit, and they have. So I'm sure that's been ingrained in his head. Like, check yourself. After this is over, you got to take your vest off and actually look for holes because you may not feel it right away. For whatever reason, he thought he'd been shot, and he hadn't been, and now he has to live the rest of his life with this hanging over his head.
So all that aside, and yes, again, go watch what we said in the app. There's a lot there. So now he gets up and he's going to get after this guy and start shooting at him. Okay, fine. But again, my big thing here is that we have to continue to ask, is what I'm looking at reasonable? And not only what I'd experienced. And again, I don't know what his experiences were in the military. I don't know where that was, but sometimes we get so tunnel focused, oh no, this happened to me, that we don't get to see anything from there. We're so focused on what did happen rather than seeing with our eyes, processing that and saying, what do I have? Because there's no way that he can be seeing that deadly threat because, again, the windows are intact. Guy can't see him and he can't see him. So remember, you only press the trigger when you can actually see the deadly threat, identify it, and know that you can stop it with a bullet.
And I'm going to reiterate something here, John, which is that I feel like if this deputy was 100% sure this guy had been, we call it tossed, there's a number of euphemisms for it in the business. If he was 100% sure this guy had been thoroughly searched and there was no way that he had access to a firearm, we avert this entire thing. We don't have to ask questions like, hey, is this part of the shooting reasonable? Look, if he'd been shot through the car, that changes if he had been shot through the window or whatever with a suppressed firearm, that changes the entire equation. But the fact is he wasn't. So nothing after this really is objectively reasonable.
It really isn't, right? So again, it's a mistake. I hope that I'm not judged by a lapse of judgment on the worst day of my life, right? So former Deputy Hernandez, understand, I'm not judging you. I think it was a mistake. I think that I'm glad you didn't hit nothing, okay? And I'm glad that this guy who was not a Boy Scout is not ending up in the hospital or the morgue, okay? Ends up being okay. But again, it's the worst day of his life. He made a bad decision, but maybe we understand why he would have made that based on some of his past stuff. Now, notice he has a magazine in his hand right now because he's got an empty gun and he's going to kind of toss that one where he is. He thinks he's shot right now. Then he is going to kind of lay down for a minute, go back again, get a second magazine when he kind of realizes, hey, I need to get back in the fight. This is what emotional fitness is. We got to stay in the fight no matter what. He is going to go get a second spare magazine out of his vest eventually. And you notice here, he's kind of tossed this one. And this is why for patrol officers, for people who are out on the street, I really recommend multiple spare magazines. And I know that goes in kind of against what I say for private citizens, that I've never seen a private citizen use any rounds from a second or subsequent magazine to win a gunfight. But with cops, we see it all the time. And so officers, I would recommend seriously at least 3, if not 4 spare magazines, especially if you can put them on your vest.
So we're talking here about the mental state of this deputy, and we can't be inside of his head, right? But regardless of what he thinks has already happened, he thinks he's been shot, he thinks he got shot through the window or whatever of that car. Regardless of that, I want him or any other deputy or police officer out there to stay in the fight. This, what we're seeing here is not really that, right? He's sort of kind of freaking out a little bit, guns on the ground. Look, if you really believe that's what's going on, you need to stay in this fight. You need to get that gun loaded up and running and find a position of cover to stay behind and stay in this fight. Because right now it's just you and the sergeant. You don't know assuming this was all actually happening, you don't know the status of the guy. You don't know if he's gotten out of the car, maybe he's flanking you or whatever. You need to have your head on a swivel and get back in this fight. As long as you're breathing and your heart's pumping, you need to stay in the fight. And I I can't really understand what's going on here in this freeze grab, John.
So this is a part of emotional fitness, right? Is that idea that says not what happened to me, past tense, but what do I need to do right now? What is happening right now so that I can stay present and solve problems and stay ahead of the problems, not get behind them, right? Very difficult thing to do. And again, we got to do this in realistic environments and train hard in order to do that. And listen, he eventually gets up. Okay, fine. Now, from Sergeant Roberts' perspective, I got a couple of interesting things here. Number one, I think she responds pretty darn well, actually. Given what she's seeing, she hears a deputy who she has worked with before, who she knows. You got to go read the 44-page report put out by Internal Investigations, that this is a guy that she knows is a pretty squared away cop. And he says, shots fired, I'm hit. And she says, from where? Inside the cruiser. So does she have objective evidence? Yeah, she does. She has a report from a reliable source that that's the case. And so she goes to work on this. Second thing, I think that I'm not really hearing anybody talking about this, that she has in hour 15 of her shift, she worked a full 12-hour shift and signed in for an overtime shift. And at 15 hours, man, of actual work, especially police work, you're a little punch drunk. And given all that, I think she did a pretty okay job.
Yeah, she's worked all night the night before. It's now, let's see, 9:30 in the morning, right? So she's been at work for a long time. Just working the overnight shift, your circadian rhythm's all screwed up. You don't feel good. You don't feel right. You don't feel yourself. You're not at 100%. And now she's in this position. So to all of our many commenters who love to trash talk female officers, there's a ton of them that do a fantastic job. She's clearly one of them because under all that stress, she's not hiding behind the car, right? She's not cowering in fear. She has some stuff on her hands, and we'll talk about that in a second, right? But she's out there doing it. She's out there identifying the problem, where it's coming from, and responding to it extremely bravely, I might add. So this is just one of many, many examples of female cops doing the job and doing it very well.
Yeah, and I really think, she really did a good job in that. Again, she verified where's it coming from, what's going on. And if you go read the investigatory report and the interviews with her, she said, I knew for sure that Jesse was being killed and I had to stop it. That he was out there in the middle of nowhere with no cover. He said he was hit. I believed him. And if I didn't get some shots in that, then I would have, he would have died and it would have been my fault. Now listen, do I wish that she had done a little bit better saying, I need to find the target before I start shooting shots? This is purely suppressive fire is what this is. She's trying to put shots in that car to put whoever is shooting's head down. That's what she said that she was trying to do. And 99.9% of the time, I'd say that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. In this particular case, do I understand why she would, given the totality of evidence that she's seen? Yeah, actually, I would. I don't love it, but I understand it. She's gonna finally get the papers out of her hand. Remember, officers, drop the things in your hand. Final thing I really wanna talk about here is I think she communicated really, really well. From a tactical perspective here, she's checking in on her officer, where you hit, what's going on. She's gonna talk on the radio and do a good job. She's gonna communicate with the hysterical victim here who is suddenly flipped because now she's the bad cop who has shot her beloved boyfriend that she's just asked her to arrest. But so from all those perspectives, I really think she did actually a pretty good job.
Yeah, the comms were fantastic, by the way. And again, to our female cop bashers out there, she's not screaming and yelling. She's not running around with her hair on fire right now, right? She's doing the job and doing it well. She's very clear, very level-headed. That her commands are concise. She's having to deal with the screaming woman. We all know about the screaming woman in every video. It seems like that we do. She's dealing with that, not letting herself get flustered by it. Communicating, calling for an ambulance, saying put EMS on standby. They're going to be staging around the corner. We need more deputies. Telling the deputies who are on the way in, I don't know if you caught this, John, hey, stop right there. Don't come any closer because if they moved closer, they'd be in the line of fire. Some of the best comms I think I've seen in a very long time from this sergeant. And look, we're going to get comments about people saying, well, what her shooting at the car was not objectively reasonable, I should say. And the fact is, she believed in that moment, my partner, by the way, who I'm responsible for, this is one of my deputies who she's probably friends with. They probably go to each other's kids' birthday parties, is bleeding to death right now. She doesn't know anything otherwise. And it's coming from that car. I know there's only one person in that car, the suspect, who I think just shot my partner. These are all reasons for her to believe, yeah, I need to get fire into that car. That's the best thing to do right now to give my partner a chance to get away and get some medical help, because right now nobody's going to be able to get to him without potentially being shot by what she believed at the time was a person who was bent on shooting police. So I think her actions were commendable in total. I think this male deputy, Deputy Hernandez, is it Hernandez?
Hernandez?
Hernandez, I hope you're watching this, and I want you to go on and have a good rest of your life doing whatever it is that you end up doing. We thank you for your service, and hopefully other deputies and police officers can watch this video and get out of it some nugget of wisdom that they can hopefully carry on through their shift, through their career, to make good decisions and cover their ass.